Let us start chapter 2, electrostatic potential and capacitance. First, we will see topic 2.1, that is introduction. Introduction. Now we know in standard 11, chapter 6 and 8, here we have studied about potential energy. We studied about two type of potential energy mainly, that was elastic potential energy and gravitational potential energy. Let us discuss about gravitational potential energy first. Suppose this is Earth's surface and here is one object, let us say having mass m, and now I lift this object m up to some height, let us say up to here. So in that case, while moving it upward, I have to do some work. Here I have to do some work in this motion. Now let me name this point as point 1 and point 2. So at point 2, this object of mass m is having some energy stored inside it, because you have done some work on it, and that's why due to that work the energy will be stored, and that energy is known as potential energy. So here at this point 2, the potential energy, let us say U, will be equal to the work done. Whatever is the work, that is equal to the potential energy. Now suppose if we release this object back from point 2 and allow it to fall freely under the gravity. So gradually it will acquire some velocity, and when it reaches at the bottom, the velocity will be maximum. That means it will also have maximum kinetic energy. It will have maximum kinetic energy at this point, and that kinetic energy will be obviously equal to the potential energy. So I can say that the kinetic energy will be equal to potential energy. In short, here there was no work done. While lifting it upside, we have done some work, that is W, and that work is stored in form of potential energy. And when you release it back, it comes back to point 1, and at that time it acquires some kinetic energy. That kinetic energy will be equal to the potential energy. This is about the gravitational potential energy, and we can also discuss about the elastic potential energy. In elastic potential energy, you can understand it by this figure. Here is a support on which one spring is connected, and here is a block kept. Now if we push this block inside, this block is having mass m. If we push this block inside, and suppose the block is reaching up to here, the distance traveled by this block is, let us say, x. So the work will be done. Here you have to do some work, and that work will be stored in form of potential energy U. So here we can say that the potential energy U will be equal to the work done. It will be U is equal to W. Now if you allow it to release back, that means this spring will be opened and this block will move in right side direction. So in that case, at the end it will have some kinetic energy, because from here, let me show you, from here when you lose this box, this block will have accelerated motion, and due to that I am saying here within this distance the block will travel, and at this end the kinetic energy will be equal to the potential energy stored in this spring. So I can write K will be equal to U. The kinetic energy will be equal to the potential energy stored in this spring. That means when you do some work, the energy is stored in form of spring, and when it is released back, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. And so we can say that kinetic energy will be equal to the potential energy. These are two examples of potential energy what we have studied already. Now let us see the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. At any point, the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy is known as total energy, or say mechanical energy. Mechanical energy. This mechanical energy remains constant. So mechanical energy is said to be constant, that means there is a conservation of mechanical energy, and such type of force is known as conservative force. Conservative force. This gravitational force is conservative force. Spring force is also conservative force, and Coulomb force is also conservative force. And that's why the conservation of mechanical energy takes place in Coulomb's force also. Coulomb's force and gravitational force are having very many similarity. For example, in gravitational force we are having mass m1 m2, it is depending on mass, and in Coulomb's force we are having q1 q2 because it is depending on the charge. Otherwise they both are having inverse square law, means for both of them the force is proportional to 1 upon r square, which is known as inverse square law of force. Now as we have derived the gravitational potential energy, the same way we can derive the electrostatic potential energy. We are going to study this electrostatic potential energy. So let us see that electrostatic potential energy. For this, assume a positive charge capital Q. Here is a positive charge capital Q. So obviously it would be spreading some electric field nearby everywhere, here like this, and we are having a small charge q. Let me show it here. This is positive small charge q. This is q, where q is greater than 0, that means it is positive, and it is situated at point R right now. This is point R, and we have to bring it up to this point P. So obviously we will have to do some work on this, because the reason is simple. See, this is positive charge and this is also positive charge, as you are saying. So due to this electric field, they both will be repelling each other, and in that repulsion force we are bringing this charge against that force, and so we have to do some work on it, and that work will be stored in form of potential energy. Here few things we have to consider, that we are considering that this charge small q is very small enough so that it doesn't disturb this capital Q charge, or say the system of charge q. This is very important, that this charge, which is known as test charge, this test charge should be very small. Otherwise, if this charge is larger, then it may affect the system of charge capital Q, and so the whole observation will differ. But here we are considering that this charge capital Q is large and this is as small as possible. So in that case, whatever work we are doing will be stored in form of potential energy. When you bring this charge small q from, let us say, Q to R, the work will be done and that work will be stored in form of potential energy. So first let me calculate the work. See, the work from R to P can be expressed by the equation of variable forces. We know in case of variable forces, the work done is equal to integration F dr. Here the limit will be from R to P, because we are moving from R point to P point, and this F is the force experienced by this test charge q. This is F external, let us say. So I can name it like F external. So work from R to P is integration R to P F Ex and dr. We can also write this equation by interchanging the limits and putting a minus, that is integration from P to R and F external dr. This work will be stored in form of potential energy at this point. This work will be stored in form of potential energy in this charge small q at this point. Now at every point, whether it is P or R, it contains some potential energy. It is already having some sort of potential energy. Only when we have done some work from R to P, a potential energy is added which is equal to this work. So here I can say that the change of potential energy that is delta U will be equal to this work WRP. Change of potential energy will be equal to WRP, because as I said that at every point there is some potential energy. When this charged particle small q is under the influence of electric field, then it is having some sort of potential energy at every point. So whatever work we had done from R to P is stored in form of change of potential energy, that is delta U. And so delta U can be now written as, let us say, UP minus UR and that is equal to minus integration P to R and F external dr. This becomes an important equation for the change of potential energy in an electric field of charge capital Q. Here one thing should be understood, that this equation depends on point P and R. Means the change of potential energy depends on the points P and R. It depends on the initial point and the final point, but not the path. What I am saying is, watch here. Suppose if I move this small charge Q from R to P, not on a straight path, but I move it in this type of curved path and I am bringing it at point P. So in that case also, this equation is not going to change, because this equation contains P and R, and for this different path also, it is initial and final points are P and R. So the change of potential energy will not be different. This is the basic characteristic of conservative force. In conservative force, we know that the work done is not depending on path. That means electrostatic force is a conservative force. Second thing, here we have taken this equation, that is the change of potential energy. This is not absolute potential energy, and practically absolute potential energy is of no use. It has no practical significance. So we will mostly use the difference of potential energy. If these 2 points P and R are taken at some different point, then we can add an arbitrary constant, let us say alpha, in this equation, and can write the potential energy as UP plus alpha and minus UR plus alpha. So obviously the answer will be again UP minus UR. This alpha will be cancelled out. This shows that for any other arbitrary place where both of these charges are at the same distance, the difference of potential energy is remaining the same. In case of potential energy, we are always having a freedom, or say a liberty, of choosing one point which is having potential energy to be 0. I am saying out of these 2 points, you can choose any of a point such a way where the potential energy is, let us say, 0. A convenient way for doing this is to put one of the point at infinite. If I place one of the point at infinite, then obviously at that point the electric potential will become 0, because look here, if this point R, suppose this point R is kept at infinite, very far away. So because it is very far away, the electric field produced by this charge will be almost 0 at that point. And so at this point, at an infinite distance, the electric potential will be 0. And in that case, we can write this above equation in a different manner. Let me show that again. If R is at infinite, so in that case UR will be nearly 0, and so now we can write WRP, that is W infinite P, which can be written as UP minus UR, that means UP minus 0. Thus, we are having this equation that W infinite P is equal to UP. Now, this equation rather gives us the definition of potential energy. Let me write it again by saying this is UP, that is potential energy at point P, which is equal to W infinite P, which is a work done on a charge Q while moving it from infinite to P. See, up to now we are having here R and P, WRP. That was the equation for when we are moving a charge from R to P. Now this is W infinite P. That means this is the equation for while we are moving charge from infinite to P. So now we can write this equation as integration infinite to P F external and dr. So this becomes an equation or say definition of potential energy. This is potential energy at point P. We can say that potential energy at point P is equal to the work done in bringing any charge from infinite to P against the electrostatic force. I repeat, potential energy at point P is equal to the work done in bringing any charge Q from infinite to point P against the electrostatic force. Now let us see the new topic, that is 2.2, electrostatic potential. Up to now, the topic what we have seen was electrostatic potential energy, and this is electrostatic potential. They both are different. I repeat, potential energy and potential both are different. Not only that, this electrostatic potential is having symbol V, whereas electrostatic potential energy was having symbol obviously U. This is having V. In the last topic, means in the potential energy, what we have done, that we have taken, it was something like this, that we have taken a charge capital Q and we were moving a charge small q from one point to another point. That was small q, and it was all in the presence of the electric field. This was the electric field, and in this electric field we were moving this charge small q from point R to point P. This was how we are done. So obviously this will be feeling, means this point charge small q would be feeling a force like QE in the opposite direction, because we have taken both the charges as positive. This is positive and this is also positive, so there will be some repulsion. That was obvious. Now this force is depending on QE, that means it is depending on charge Q. It depends on the magnitude of this test charge Q, and so the work will also depend on test charge Q, because in work we have to put force into displacement. So this is the force and displacement. So in force already Q is there. So the work was depending on small q, and so the potential energy was also depending on small q. So the conclusion is, what I am talking about is that the potential energy is depending on the charge small q, on the test charge small q. Means it is a potential energy produced by capital Q, but it is depending on small q, test charge small q. So scientists thought to define a physical quantity which is independent of the test charge. If we want a physical quantity which is independent of test charge small q, then obviously we should divide that potential energy with small q itself, and that is known as electrostatic potential, or rather electrostatic potential difference. So the potential difference, that is delta V, is delta U upon Q. More specifically, we can write Vp minus Vr is equal to Up minus Ur upon small q, or in general we can write that potential is potential energy divided by q, and vice versa. You can also write that potential energy is q times then the potential. So here we can understand one thing, that potential energy is work done on q charge while moving it from R to P point, and potential is work done on unit positive charge. That is the only difference, and that's why again this is potential work done on unit charge multiplied by q charge, that becomes work done on q charge, that means potential energy. Now we can say that electrostatic potential V at any point in a electrostatic field is the work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinite or from infinity to that point. Let me repeat this. Electrostatic potential V at any point in an electrostatic field, means in an electric field, is the work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to that point. Electrostatic potential is the work done on a unit positive charge while bringing it from infinity to that particular point. That is electrostatic potential. Now here, at the place of unit positive charge, if I say q charge, positive q charge, then the same definition will become of electrostatic potential energy. Work done on unit positive charge is potential, and work done on q charge is potential energy. For example, let me show a figure here. Suppose here is a positive charge, here is some another negative charge, here is again some positive charge, here some negative charge, and this type of field is produced, this type of charges are distributed, and due to that some electric field will be produced. And now we are bringing some unit positive charge. Here let me show this charge as Q is equal to 1 coulomb. When I am saying Q is equal to 1 coulomb, that becomes unit positive charge from infinite. You can see here I have written infinite. So from infinite to this point, let us name it like point P. So again I am bringing a unit positive charge from infinite to this point P. So in that I have to do some work, and that work, let us say it is WP, will be the potential at point P. Name is VP. Potential at point P will be VP. So the work done on bringing unit positive charge from infinite to point P is known as the potential at that particular point. Note that this point is not in absolute free space. It is under the influence of the electric field, or say electrostatic field, produced by these charges. Now practically it is not possible to bring any charge from infinite to any point. So in practice what we will do, basically in practice we will take infinitesimal charge dq, and we will give a small displacement, let us say dr, and from that we will get some very small work dw, and we will divide this dw by dq. So this becomes work done on unit charge. When you divide it by charge itself, so it becomes a work done on unit charge. Now to take the potential, we need a work done on unit positive charge from infinite to point P. So for finding potential, we will take V is equal to integration from infinite to point P of dw by dq. This is how we will find out the potential. Let me just repeat this again. We will take any small charge dq. Instead of this q, we will take very small charge dq, and we will give a very small displacement dr. From that we will find out very small work dw while moving this charge, and this work divided by the charge gives us work done on unit positive charge. So this is work done on unit positive charge, but for only small displacement dr. But as per the definition of potential, we need a work done on unit positive charge from infinite to P. So we will take the whole integration from infinite to P of dw by dq, and that gives us the potential, more specifically potential at point P, that is Vp.